And good morning. It's 7:04 on this Friday, March 24th. It's time to head to Studio B for Coleman and Company.
Hello, everybody. We welcome you. Thanks for joining us here on a Friday morning. We're on the air for Wilson Bank and Trust. Laura Smith joins us this morning. Laura, good morning.
Good morning, Coleman.
It's really good to see you. Laura is a marketing and events officer. You want to tell us what that means?
Well, I take care of all the big events bank-wide over our entire footprint of the bank in Middle Tennessee. So the fairs, Oktoberfest, fun days, and today talk about shred days and Easter bunny visits.
All right. How long have you been with the bank?
15 years.
Yeah. You haven't always been marketing and events officer, though.
No, I started on the switchboard at the main office, and then I moved to marketing.
Well, it's good to see you. You don't get, there's so many of you anymore. We don't get to see most of you too often, you know.
True. Yeah.
Well, let's get going here. Shred Day.
Yes, so our annual shred days are kicking off tomorrow, and we will be at our main office in Lebanon and our Hermitage office. The hours are from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. We ask that every person bring 50 pounds of shred so that everybody has a chance to get their items into the shred truck. So the shred truck is on site. You'll dump your items into a blue container, and they will take it and put it into the truck and shred it right then. Mm-hmm. It is a first come, first serve event, and it is always busy, and the truck does fill up. So I do say, please come early.
But limited to 50 pounds or less.
Yes, per person.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's it's probably a great service, and everybody doesn't have a shredder, and even if you have one, 50 pounds is quite a bit, isn't it?
It is, and we try to do it around tax time when people are trying to clean out or, get rid of some old tax papers or any other papers that you need. Mm-hmm. And if you aren't able to come tomorrow to those two offices, on April 1st, we'll be at our Mount Juliet office, and then our Nashville Pike office in Gallatin. Same times, 9 to 11, first come, first serve.
Okay. Is that the two times? Is that it? Or you got more?
One more date, April 8th, we will be at our Memorial office. Mm-hmm. Same time, 9 to 11.
All right. So we've got tomorrow.
Yes.
Which is the 25th of March, I believe.
Correct.
April 1st and April 8th.
Correct.
Two locations for each of those Saturdays.
Well, the last Saturday's just one.
All right, okay.
Yes.
So all right. Most people are going to go to the one that's closest to them, I imagine.
Yes, and that's why we say if you aren't able to make that one, mm-hmm. you can go to another one. We've kind of tried to spread those out over the footprint so you're not all in one area at one time.
And again, it starts at what time tomorrow?
9 a.m.
9 to
11.
11. So we've got a 2-hour window there. But
yes.
As you were saying, if you want to be sure, you need to come early.
Please come early.
Be advised to do that to be sure. And I guess it depends on how many are there, of course, how long the line is, but it can stretch a little bit at times, can it?
It can. So at the main office, it's usually wrapped around the operations center, which is how we try to do the flow so it's not on the main road. Yeah. But it does stay steady those 2 hours.
Well, a great service, of course, is being offered. Now, the other thing you want to talk about.
Easter bunny visits. So we're getting into spring, and Easter falls in April this year, so we usually start the Easter bunny visits about 3 weeks before. So that is something that will start tomorrow as well. So we will be at our Carthage office from 9 to 12, our Nashville Pike office in Gallatin from 9 to 11, and then our Mount Juliet office from 9 to 11. So we've got 3 Easter bunnies starting tomorrow. Mm-hmm. Then we've got about 7 more that will follow that, and those are online at wilsonbank.com.
All right. One of the things I think is required to be an employee at Wilson Bank and Trust is to have the community in mind and be somewhat of a public servant. There's enough to spread around for everybody, just about, isn't there?
There is. We do over 100 events a year. When we went back and counted them all up, and that's probably been on the low side because things are always popping up that we're doing. But that's what we try to do is serve our communities.
And you're pretty much the coordinator for all of this.
All of the big things, yes. If they've got something, a little smaller that pertains to their community, they'll do that at the bank, just something local.
Yeah, but they call and ask you if we're doing it okay. Though.
Yeah, oh, yes, they do. Yes. Yeah, so I talk to everybody.
Well, you've been a great servant for Wilson Bank and Trust, doing a fine job. You've been here many times for many different events that we've talked about over the years, and you said 15, I believe.
15 years, yeah. So this kind of kicks off our event season, and they'll start rolling from there.
Yeah. Well, we hope you have 15 more great years. How's that?
That sounds great.
More if you want.
Yes, thanks, Coleman.
All right, Laura Smith with us, the marketing and events officer for Wilson Bank and Trust, member FDIC, equal housing lender. They're still here, still independent, still committed to you. Excellence in banking since 1987. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right. Well, it is time for our Friday Senate report. And let me turn the mic up just a little bit, but not too much, for Senator Mark Bodie.
Good morning, Coleman. This is a great day to be alive. It was nice and warming up out there a little bit today.
I'm not number one Ned, but I think it's in the 60s this morning.
Well, Coleman, I got to start out there. You have such a wide base of people that listen to your show all across the county and some of the surrounding counties a little bit as well. But there's a lady, and she is actually in her 90s. And I've got to say a special hello to her. And her name is Miss Ann Floyd. And it's like, she listens to you and doesn't get out a whole lot, but I want to make sure that I say hello to Miss Ann Floyd this morning.
Well, let me say hello as well. And we certainly appreciate what a loyal listener she is, and a great person as well.
And she actually, she's related to somebody that's down at the Capitol, one of the Sergeant of Arms. And so I get to talk to them. Some of the Sergeant of Arms that are at the Senate, they actually live in Wilson County. So they always have a good connection in Wilson County down at the Capitol. But they were telling me all about Miss Ann, and they listened to you, and just want to say your base grows every single day, I think.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I think it's good that we're able to have our representatives in state government here to kind of keep us up to date with what's happening. Now, you are our only senator, and we have you here every Friday. We kind of divide the other time up between our actual three representatives now. Representative Hale not here as much, but he only has a little sliver of Wilson County. Still, I hope we have some listeners in Smithville as well. I think.
And you do. You absolutely do. But let me kind of fill you in what's happening this week. And when we talked last week, one of the big things we had talked about was the Lieutenant Governor. Mm-hmm. And I said there would be a vote on that. And I said, Coleman, I'd report back to you what happened. And just kind of walking through a little bit. And I don't think the whole thing is quite over yet, but we did call for a vote of confidence or no confidence to the Lieutenant Governor. And it voted. There was 19 that voted to say that we've got confidence in him, and 7 voted against him. Now, I'm going to tell you, I was one of them that voted against him, but the vast majority of the senators voted to keep him, so he's our Lieutenant Governor going forward at this point. So as we walk through that, just want to make sure I gave you that update. And looking at where we are in this session, I can tell you, if you and I were going on a trip from here down to Disney World in Florida, I'd say, Coleman, we're just about to get over the Florida line. I mean, we're not quite there yet, but we're starting to wind down and say, hey, we're getting close to having everything done. All of our committees are closing down this week, and I got the last meeting this week in education. I've only got 33 bills left to talk about. Now, I've got to tell you, I met with Jeff Luttrell yesterday. And Jeff and I, I count him as a very reasonable individual. And he and I have had conversations, and we've talked for a long time, before he was even superintendent, when he was principal in Watertown. I would literally go down and say, Jeff, where are we with education? What are we looking at? And so we were talking this week, and we're talking about a piece of legislation. He said, Mark, this is the way I think it looks. And I said, no, Jeff, I think it looks this way. And we went through, and when we were in committee, and I literally was asking some of the questions that Jeff Luttrell had given me, and they were telling me, Mark, you were right. I asked the sponsor, I asked the Department of Education. After we voted on it, I voted out of committee. The very next day, they came to me and they said, well, you know what? Maybe we were not quite as accurate. And it turned out that Jeff was right. And so I met with Jeff yesterday and said, Jeff, you were right. I was not right. And I don't know if I can get that vote. I can't get that vote back, but I'm going to try and stop that bill from going through.
What did that pertain to, if I may ask?
Sure. So it was open enrollment. So if there was openings in the school system, and the school system, it was my understanding that they could write a policy to keep them in control of every single seat that they have in Wilson County in their schools. But if another student wanted to come in and they had room and they were going to accept the money, that they could. And so we thought it was kind of a good thing. And for most school systems, it's fine. But Wilson County is a very fast-growing system. And my concern was this. I'm just going to say, let's say we had to build a brand-new school, which we're going to have to. And a lot of times we build them knowing that we're going to fill them up shortly. And, so we don't fill so they're at full capacity immediately. Well, that would leave us a few extra seats to start with. And I don't want people, I'm just going to say, from like Davidson County saying, oh, we got a whole bunch of new seats in Wilson County. We're going to try and get our kids over there, and Wilson County has to take them and educate them. It was our taxpayers, the citizens of Wilson County, that paid to buy that school. Now, we might have money coming in to educate them from the state and such, but it was our taxpayers that did that. I think that Wilson County students need to go there first and so forth. So that bill did pass committee, but it's not on the floor. So I think we're going to have a relook at that on the floor. I want to make sure that our tax dollars are protected here in Wilson County.
All right, Senator Mark Pody is here. Our Friday Senate report will continue after we take this break. You're on FM 98.9.
And to 716, let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Absolute Kubota, they'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Traffic volume on the increase down 65 southbound right now through Madison as you make your way down the Trinity Lane. Still moving right now. I-40 in Kingston Springs. It's been pretty positive so far this morning on I-40 out of Dixon County headed towards Nashville. 24 starting to bunch up pretty good westbound. 24 through the Hickory Hollow area coming in from Rutherford County. Hey, Nash Painting services all of Middle Tennessee. If you're going to get your house painted this spring and summer, call these guys. I'm telling you, they are absolutely the best in Middle Tennessee. Log on to nashpainting.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Starting to save for your future doesn't have to be difficult. Let Wilson Bank and Trust help tone up your financial goals this year. Our certificates of deposits or CDs can help your money work harder with our competitive rates, earning you more than ever before. WBT checking options allow you to earn rewards you can really use, like a high interest rate or cash back on check card purchases when you meet some e-banking qualifications. Visit your closest Wilson Bank and Trust office or online at wilsonbank.com to get started today. Member FDIC.
The Cumberland Phoenix baseball team has a big Mid-South Conference weekend series Saturday and Sunday at home at the 6 versus the Bethel Wildcats from McKenzie, Tennessee. Saturday is cap day. All kids 12 and under receive a free Cumberland baseball cap while supplies last. If you can't make it out to the 6, tune in on these radio stations or on GoCumberlandAthletics.com. See you at the 6. Go Phoenix.
Coleman and Company, our Friday Senate report. Senator Mark Pody is here, always with a lot of good information. This is interesting. You and Jeff Luttrell, our director of schools, you didn't exactly butt heads, but you had some differing opinion here, and you come to find out he
was right. he was right. And you know what? I like it when I get to talk to people like Jeff, because we're not going to agree on everything. I mean, not everybody agrees on absolutely everything. But when you can say, hey, I got a different thought process or a different opinion, we can still talk. We can still be friends. We can still move forward. We don't have to. We can be disagreeable without being ugly, without being such. It's just a different thought process, and we move forward.
Well, we might address one other thing quickly in education here. Representative Hale talked quite a bit about this yesterday and said a lot of his constituents are concerned about the third grade retention thing. Any news from you on that this morning?
Sure. So let me tell you, I voted for the third grade retention, and it's going to go through and it's going to pass. And I have done many hours of study on what this looks like. And some are showing it's a good study. Some are showing the studies haven't shown success and progress. But Tennessee has aligned itself with those states that have tried this and has been successful. If we had third grade retention and we did not have the backup solutions, we didn't have the intensive summer study afterwards, we didn't have the one-on-one training that we could do with these students and so forth, it would not work. But Tennessee is funded and put this money in where it needs to be. So if a parent is saying, look, my child is right here, they're trying, they're on the bubble, whether they can make it or not, or they're just in the approaching class, they can literally make that appeal. The parent can, and the parent can be in the final decision saying whether that child goes forward or not. And I think that way we got the parents involved, we got the school involved, we got the teachers involved, and by the time we're done, almost every single third grader should be able to go forward. They just got to take the summer school to achieve that.
Okay, let's talk about education funding for a second here. We've got a big budget this year. You were almost seemed like you were appalled at what an increase we've had in 2 or 3 years here in our state budget. How much bigger, how many more $1 billion are involved. But I'm wondering about the education part.
So we are funding more in education, and there's just things that we're supposed to fund education. So I don't mind us putting this extra money in education. I don't mind us putting it into roads. I do mind us if we go into social programs that we're not supposed to be in. And so how we spend that money and what we're going to do with it matters to me. I wish we would have put more money into our savings account. I wish we would have done more giving it back to the taxpayers. Just because we have the money doesn't mean we need to spend every single dollar that we have. We should be a little bit more conservative than that. But education did get a good fair share, and the TISA money is going to be coming out, and that means Wilson County and every other county is going to get more money than what they had the BEP, which is good for us.
Yeah, any particular legislation our local school people have been lobbying for or even against?
Yes, one of them was class sizes and what it is. Now, that bill failed, so nothing's changed in the class sizes, but there was a movement to say, can we give the locals a little more authority of what those class sizes should be? And if so, let's just say that the maximum for a grade size would be 25. Should a school system say, you know what, we've got one extra student in one class, so should we allow that one extra student to do it, or do we need to hire another teacher? And sometimes a student might be there only for a few months, or it might be just the end of the year. Should we allow that 26 student in there, or do we have to hire a new teacher and break up that class a little bit? And we were trying to give that authority to the locals, and they just have to come to the state for approval of whatever that might be. But it would say, boy, we're taking class sizes off, and anybody could put as many in there as they possibly want. And that wasn't true on that bill, but it did have a lot of people very concerned about what happened. And it failed, so everything's going to stay the same. Everything else is going forward. The teachers are going to get more money. We've got it in the governor's program that they'll have their starting wages at $50,000 a year to be a teacher shortly. So over the next couple of years, it's going to be worked up to a starting teacher across the state will be starting at $50,000.
That's quite a lot more than it was just a few years ago.
Absolutely. So the state is putting a lot of money in there. I will tell you that we have had a lot of people come down to the Capitol this year and about education. But we had two groups this week that came down. We had Mount Juliet Chamber, they came down, and we also had Leadership Wilson that came down. So Dory Mitchell, she does such a great job, and Kathy, and every single year they tell me they got the best class ever.
Yeah, I've heard that a few times.
So we're really happy to have guests come down to us absolutely on a regular basis. One other thing that happened is we're getting an idea of what Wilson County is going to get in the new transportation funding. So Wilson County roads, the state's going to give them $4.5 million. This is a lot more money than they would normally get. They got to put in $92,000, but that's going to give them a total of over $4.6 million for the roads this year for Wilson County. This isn't what the state's doing. This is not on state roads. This is just county roads.
Now, are there strings attached to that, or what is this actually supposed to go for? I mean, they're not just saying, here, road department, you got whatever, 4 million or whatever you said.
Now it's going to be pretty much up to the county to decide how they want to spend it. Yep. So, the only string was they have to put in like a 2% match. So which it used to be a 20% match, now it dropped down to 2%. So we need our roads fixed and so forth, and it's only the right. I'm going to tell you, Coleman, back probably about 20 years ago, the state was in the habit of robbing the counties and the cities of money. The sources that they used to get, the state had actually cut some of those sources out and started putting that in state coffers where the cities and the counties used to rely on that. We're now in a movement of trying to restore some of that money back to the counties and to the cities. The state's doing well, and we need to get some of that money back to the locals.
Well, I'm sure the locals don't argue with you on that.
No. The issue I think sometimes though is I hear, Mark, you're giving us money just like this, but you're not giving it to us on a reoccurring basis. It's just a one-time funding when we have extra money and so forth. It's easier to budget when we have reoccurring money coming back to us, so we can plan on it. We can count on it. Not that they're upset with money coming back like this, but they'd like to have it on a reoccurring, not on a one-time basis.
Well, this is ugly. Beggars can't be choosers.
But Coleman,
count your blessing to get in.
Yes. So there was one other bill that was a little controversial, and I voted on it, and I voted against it. And I want to kind of touch base as what my thought process was. It was the Juneteenth, okay? And in Texas, they were. After the Civil War, it took a few years for all the slaves to be released and so forth. And some of the last slaves in the nation happened to be in Texas. And so they were told that they were free and so forth. That became a national holiday, which was great. I have no problem with that. And that happened in Texas. In Tennessee, it happened on a different date, much earlier and so forth. But they said, should we make this a state holiday? And I said, wait a minute, why would we make a Texas event a Tennessee state holiday? It's already a federal holiday. And I said, if it has to do with a Tennessee, an event that happened in Tennessee, that's one thing. But this is a Texas holiday. And I said, I don't see why we want to do that for a Texas holiday. If we want to do the same thing, do it on the day it happened in Tennessee, or do it something that has to do with Tennessee, not a Texas event.
Haven't kept up with this. Did that pass?
It did. I was one of the very few people that voted against it. But, we went through the board. The board said, vote against it, and that's what I did. Now, I'm going to tell you that we've got one more week with our board, and next week we're going to be, all the committees are closed, and they've been so helpful. And so in April, it's just working on the budget issues, things like that. But, I've got to tell you, we've been working hard on the board, a lot of education, and a lot more discussion on individual bills. So I got to tell you how hard they work and how much I appreciate them sitting down and going through these things with me.
How big, how long and how big to do are we going to have getting the budget passed? I mean, it could almost be rubber stamped. You've gone over this in committee and so on, and most people, I think, know, unless they're just really wanting something else, wanting to change things. What can we expect?
So I'm going to tell you, probably 90% of it's done and in stone. There's going to be a few tweaks here and there. Now, for example, the legislature, we got $10 million to decide what do we want to do with it. I mean, what kind of, and they're going to say it's earmarks, pet projects, and so forth, and say, what do we want to do with that extra discretionary money? And I very, very seldom say I got a pet project that I want to do something with. I'm more saying let's give it back to the taxpayers or put it into the rainy day fund. But they're going through all those appropriations, and sometimes there's some needy cause that they need it, they couldn't get it funded elsewhere, or it has to come out of a bill that was passed and it was a good idea in the bill, and they just need some funding to do that. So they're going to be discussing those, and it's going to be kind of saying, hey, here's how much money we've got. Let's see what's the best and top projects we should do with that money. And that's some of the last things we'll be doing in April.
Well, it's always interesting because there's usually something that holds things up, or the House gets behind, or the Senate gets behind the House or something, and it seems like there's some foot dragging right at the end.
And there'll be some discussion because the House will have their priorities, the Senate will have their priorities, and the governor will have his priorities. And we got to bring them all back together to see what does this really look like.
Yeah, and there are times when these I guess it's a joint committee that's usually made, and and there can be some foot dragging or you think you're nearly to the end, but the end isn't as close as you think.
Absolutely. Well, I will tell you, though, of all the years I've been there, I think we're a little bit farther ahead, both the House and the Senate. Everybody's doing fine. We'll be starting to have 3 times that we're meeting back at the Capitol again, because with committees done, Wednesdays, we'll be meeting Wednesday mornings on the floor. And the House has done, I got to tell you, they've done a remarkable job in getting their stuff in order. The Senate's done good. So,
all right, real quick here, just thought of this. There was this thing about diapers, about
yes,
state funding childcare. Is that going to be part of this?
I don't think so. I think we're able to strip some of that out of the budget, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that's the kind of money that I would like to be putting in education or putting in roads. We just don't need to be starting new programs right now. Let's be thoughtful of what we're doing now. And Coleman, I'm going to tell you, I think that our economy is still going to be we're not through what we're started. We could have some downturns in our income at the state. Let's be prepared. Let's be wise with what we're looking at. And that's my thought process when I'm talking at the Capitol.
All right. Thanks so much for being with us this morning. Time is up, but have a great week, and we'll do it again next Friday.
Thanks, Coleman.
All right. Senator Mark Pody, our Friday Senate Report, and Part 1 of Coleman and Company. We hope you'll keep it here for more FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Thanks to Bates Ford, regular oil change $34.95 up to 5 quarts oil, tax and disposal. 1673 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. There's a crash just happened on 24 eastbound just past that Jolton exit. Now it's backed up all the way to the Jolton exit on 24 eastbound there at White Creek Pike. That's going to slow down that traffic again. Trying to get through that Jolton area. Behind it, it's all that traffic in from Clarksville. Trying to get through there. Again, that's 24 eastbound at the Jolton exit. It's got traffic really slow. 24 up through the Hickory Hollow area coming in from Rutherford County. It's heavy, but it's still moving. Prince's Hot Chicken is catering. Check out their menu at princeshotchicken.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Warming temperatures with plenty of clouds and breeze for us today, but be ready for a thunderstorm risk overnight. We should see a high of 77 degrees today with gusts reaching 30 miles an hour. Our chance for severe weather comes late tonight, so make sure you keep a weather radio or phone app turned on. This weather forecast is brought to you by Walker Auction and Realty, professional auction and real estate services. Get top dollar for your home, land, or personal property. Log on to MikeWalkerAuctions.com. They know auctions. That's a look at your forecast. I'm number 1 Ned.
Coleman and Company, boy, already we are ready to go with Part 2 here on this Friday morning. Medina is having a seat, and she's part of the C&D team of Exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main here in Lebanon. Great people, great service, people you can trust.
That's right.
Say that again.
That's right.
All right.
Don't make a move without us.
All right. What's new?
Well, I just
There
wanted...
is something new, right?
There is something new. We have a new agent in our office, and we wanted to bring him today to introduce and let him tell you a little bit about himself, and you ask him questions so he can tell you more about himself. But it's Michael Holbrook, and he's from Lebanon. He's a Lebanon native. So we're glad to have him. So I'm going to let him tell you a little bit about himself.
Well, good morning, Michael Holbrook.
Good morning, Coleman.
Good to have you with us today.
Yes, sir. Good to be here.
And we will like to find out a little bit about you. So you grew up here?
I did. I've been living here all my life. Born and raised out on the south side of town. Had a little farm out there. My mom and dad are Joe and Pam Holbrook. Lived here most all my life. I'm sure you probably know them.
Well, what all you done?
Well, I've been in sales for the past 25 years, traveling mostly Middle Tennessee, kind of followed in my dad's footsteps there. Here over the past few years, I was looking to get a little bit more centralized, back closer to Wilson County, closer to home, a little bit less traveling. So I reached out to Judy and Medina, and here I am. I'm part of Exit.
Well, isn't this something pretty new for you, real estate?
Real estate is, when I've talked to people about this and let them know about my transition, I basically let them know that my inventory's changed. I've been in sales all my life.
Yeah.
It's Nothing really any different as far as I'm concerned, just a little bit different inventory. So
You have to sell yourself
That's exactly
regardless
right.
of what you're selling,
no,
right?
no doubt, that's
Yeah.
right. Treat people right, good hometown boy, that type of thing.
Well, you got it. You found anything out about Miss Judy or Medina yet that you can share with us?
Secrets.
I have known these ladies all of my life, so I will just leave it there.
He knows too much to tell.
I'm sure there is probably dirt, but we will not pick that shovel up today.
Is there any particular area of real estate that maybe you would specialize in, or you feel like you would have an affinity for?
Right now I'm just kind of getting my feet wet and learning. I really get along with people well, and I'm going to start with the residential side. At some point, may look into commercial, maybe some kind of property management for people, things like that. So a few different options out there in the future.
Well, one of the things I think we should, you probably already know this, but we have found out here from Friday to Friday that Miss Judy is an excellent teacher, and she is she'd be good in a classroom setting. If
No
she
doubt.
had a bunch of real estate people to teach, she'd be a wonderful teacher, I think.
And that's-
I've learned a lot listening to her, stuff you wouldn't even think about that she's experienced. So you got a good mentor here.
That's right. And that's why I reached out to Judy. I know she's had a lot of experience in this, and, she's just a powerhouse in the industry. And I knew that I was making the right move by reaching out to Exit and C&D team.
All right. If somebody wants to get in touch with you, I suppose you can call the number, C&D team at Exit Rocky Top Realty.
That is correct. And my
You've
cell
got your
phone.
own number. Well, we'll give that as well.
Sure. That is 615-478-0051. And that is Exit Rocky Top Realty on Main Street.
478-0051.
That's correct.
All right. Michael Holbrook.
Yes, sir.
All right. Now, is it your turn?
Yes, we're excited to have Michael. He comes with a lot of energy and a lot of knowledge from the sales industry. So we're excited to have him and take him under our wing and then let him fly. So we're excited to have him. So just wanted to let everybody know. Michael, it was in our office now, but tell you a little bit more about our listings. We have several land, lots, and farms. So if you're looking for a farm, 80 acres in Watertown. If you're looking for 10 acres here in Lebanon, you've got it on Canesville Road. If you're looking for 5 acres or 7 acres on Rutledge Lane. If you're looking for 5 acres and a house on Ben Green Road. If you're looking for commercial, East Way, we have them in Pigeon Forge. So we give us a call for any of that land, any of the houses, any of the properties that you see, even if our sign is not in the yard. Give us a call and we will do the digging for you, let you and show it to you and see what you think. We've got several properties coming soon, so we're getting those ready to get on the market.
Guess you're working all the time for new listings.
Oh, well, you never stop because once you have one under contract, you want to have another one right behind it.
Yeah.
So it never stops, and even if you're sleeping, your phone is still on.
Well, do most people contact you? I mean, you wouldn't know that somebody's interested in either buying or selling unless they come to you.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, some people will call the office. Some people still walk into the office. Most people call the cell phones, but we are available all three because we have the office open. We have the 24-hour answering person is always answering the phone, even if the office is not open. And then, of course, we have our cell phones.
Right.
So we're always available.
And of course, it's nice to have Michael Holbrook as one of
Yes.
your agents now.
Yes,
And,
we have 2 mics now. So, both a lot of energy.
Well,
Maybe I can keep up.
that's for sure. All right, I guess that about does it here this Friday morning. But Michael Holbrook, thanks for joining us. And Medina, you always have the last word.
You always remember, don't make a move without us.
All right, thank you. C&D team, Exit Rocky Top Realty, 1330 West Main Street in Lebanon. People you can trust, and as they say, don't make a move without us. All right, we want to get the folks around the table who are going to talk here on part 2, and I think we've got 3 of them, 2 gentlemen and a lady this morning.
Gentlemen.
And I'm going to introduce Chip Smith
that.
first.
Gentlemen, I like that.
Chip, when you come out, our audience at this moment probably don't have a clue as to what our subject is going to be. You're
They
involved
have
in so
no
many
clue. Yeah.
different
I
things.
guarantee you they don't.
If I mention Benny Nolan, people might have a better idea.
Yes, sir.
Penny, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good to see you.
And we have
Sandy Hubbard.
Sandy Hubbard with us this
Right.
morning as well. And I think you're kind of the one that got this all set up. We either did emails or a phone
Right.
call. I've already
Right.
forgotten now. But Sandy, good to have you.
I'm glad to be here. Glad to be here.
All right, what are we going to be talking about?
We're going to be talking about Lebanon Square Mother-Daughter Fashion Show benefiting Joseph Storehouse. We're passionate about this annually, having something that fundraises Joseph Storehouse. And for people that doesn't know about Joseph Storehouse, it's a huge investment every single month. And we are feeding Wilson County and other counties.
Yes, that's correct.
But this is our big fundraiser, and it's a mother-daughter fashion show. We're going to have all the vendors on the square. We'll be modeling their merchandise, which we're excited about that. It's spring, and people are ready to, get out there and look cute. So we have MJ Lucas, the voice of WANT, going to be our mistress of ceremonies. And we have door prizes, and we have a grand prize that we're going to have.
Right.
So it's going to be a fun day.
Tell them again when this is going to be.
It's going to be April the 1st at the Capitol Theater. It's a week from Saturday.
Right.
If you need any tickets or a table or of any type, we have a few still available. We're almost sold out, and we're grateful for that. Grateful.
Well, Benny, again, good to see you.
Yes,
I
sir.
guess you're busy.
Oh, we're trying to stay that way.
and I don't know whether you can keep Chip busy or not.
He
He
tries.
stays busy doing so many other things.
He tries. Between him and my wife, I don't have a lot of spare time.
Well, good to have all three of you. We've got a little bit before we go to the break here. Actually, we've got about 5 minutes. And I think for those, I doubt there's many people that's been here for any length of time, have not heard of or know a little bit about Joseph Storehouse. But there might be some who wonder what it is.
Right.
Tell us kind of what that's all
Sure.
about.
Joseph Storehouse started almost 24 years ago here in the community, started by Brother Bob and Miss Peggy Evans, my mother and father-in-law. And we feed right now, which we are seeing record numbers, Coleman, that we've never seen before.
It's unbelievable.
In the last 6 months. We've seen, in November, we fed almost 700 families in November alone. So we're averaging right around 600 families a month right now in feeding families, which we're fortunate and we're very honored to serve those that need food.
What do you attribute the increase to?
Well, I think it's just, as we all see, is
Yes,
this
sir.
increased prices of going to the grocery
Inflation.
store. And what we're seeing, too, is a lot of working families, which we more commonly known, there's more month than there is money. They're working and trying to make ends meet, but because of rising prices, whether it be at the grocery store, at the gas pump, or whatever, they're struggling. And we're seeing more and more of that type scenario of people, our clients, coming to receive food. And of course, we've always dealt with ministered to the elderly, to the disabled, single parents. We've always done that, but we're seeing more and more of our working families who just do not have enough money to cover everything.
Well, you probably, through your family connection, got where you are here and involved with this. I mean, you might have anyway, but that's kind of your reason. Sandy, what about you, and how long you
Well,
been?
I volunteered one day, and I'm going to tell you, Coleman, it was phenomenal.
Yeah.
It was phenomenal. The food that those people get and the smile and the feeling of comfort that they have after, they have a whole wheelbarrow of food. And it's not just a canned good. It's a fresh apples. It's fresh milk. It's fresh eggs. It's a turkey sometimes,
Yeah,
or
meat.
chicken breast, shrimp. These people would never be able to afford anything like that. And it's a whole wheelbarrow of food. And the passion that it gives you to be able to give that to somebody in need, it's wonderful.
So that you volunteered
Yes.
and got hooked, if you want to
Benny-
kind of summarize it.
Right, Benny, we graduated from high school together, and he asked us if some of us that graduated with him would, and I just loved it. It was just amazing what we did for those people.
Chip, what's your story?
Yeah, it's unbelievable what it is. Well, Brother Evans used to come to the furniture store. He'd come grab me, and he said, "Chip, I want you to come out here." And I've helped before, but this is probably in the '80s or something like that. Who knows? But anyway, he took me out to the warehouse one day, and the only thing in the warehouse was there was a concrete pad. He said, "Chip, I'm just believing in this metal going up in this warehouse getting filled up, with food." And 'cause that's when I think that was a little pad. That was before Rose Tire.
Right.
But we was in the furniture business, and Dad and Brother Evans Brother Bob were real good friends. Even though they were competitors, they were really good friends. And just by his love and his passion for people, just when I was able to do it, I went out there some. But when I semi-retired, oh man, it's just like Sandy said. Once you see the food that's given away, and you see these people, and like what Beanie said, the month is longer than the money.
Yeah.
And when you see an old man cry when he tells you that how much he appreciates it, and that's what he told me. He said, "Chip," he said, and this guy's passed away. I loved him. His name was Jimmy Smith, and he said, "Chip," he said, I've done the right thing. I was retired from from Ross Gear, and he said, I was a deacon in my church. He said, I've done everything right. He said, but I'm still having to come out here and get food. So that's what it's all about right there. He said,
well, you
awesome.
Brought back some memories when you mentioned, with Bella Furniture and Smith Furniture, and then
Town and Country.
Right, all of that.
Yeah.
Well, it goes back a while. Yeah. Well, before we go to the break, one more time, Sandy, tell us about this fundraiser.
It's Saturday, April the 1st at the Capitol Theater. It's Lebanon Square Mother-Daughter Fashion Show for Joseph Storehouse.
All right, we'll talk more about that after we go to this break. This is Coleman and Company, FM 98.9.
And let's see what's happening on the roadways. Want to thank our friends at Absolute Kubota. They'll help you rent the right tool for the job. The Kubota Orange Rental Program makes it easy to rent the right equipment. Stop by Absolute Kubota, check out the U35 excavator or the SVL 75 compact track loader, 1506 West Main. Now at traffic, here's Chuck.
Good morning. Steady flow of traffic continues down through Wilson County, Mount Juliet right now on 40 westbound, headed into Hermitage. Still looks pretty good right now, just busy. 24 westbound and through the Hickory Hollow area, coming in from Rutherford County, Murfreesboro. Traffic pretty good shape right now in Wilson County. Just lots of radar up and down I-40, especially in the Mount Juliet area. Snapdragon Hemp, serving up lab-tested top-shelf hemp products, edibles, flowers, concentrates. Order online this weekend at snapdragon420.com. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Gregory Dental Group in Lebanon is a family dental practice located across from Vanderbilt Wilson County Hospital. They offer cosmetic procedures, dental implant services, and now featuring new digital dentures. Premium dentures in just 2 appointments. No insurance, no problem. Call about our discount plan.
Hi, I'm Dr. Derek Gregory. In my office, you can count on a compassionate staff who will truly listen to you, take the time to get to know you, and discuss your personal needs. I look forward to meeting you.
Gregory Dental Group, 444-0322, West Medora Parkway, across from Gibbs Pharmacy.
Are you ready to move on up to your next dream home?
We are full-time real estate professionals with over 42 years of combined experience.
We will get the job done for you to move on up.
Ready for a deluxe apartment in the sky? Remember, don't make a move without us.
Call Judy Cox or Medina Himmenthaler at Exit Rocky Top Realty. C&D Team 443-3130.
Monthly with the
Coleman and Company, thanks for joining us. So let me reintroduce the cast this morning. I have 3 around the table. Sandy Hubbard is with us, along with Benny Nolan and Chip Smith. And Joseph Storehouse is the big thing we're talking about, but focusing especially on this event coming up a week from tomorrow. And Sandy is kind of in charge of informing all about that. This has more to do with the ladies and girls than it does with us men, I think.
Well, now, Coleman, I want to tell you, we're having all single models for Wilkie's. There'll be 8 single men that will be modeling for Wilkie's.
All right. I get corrected nearly every day.
Well, it is mother-daughter banquet.
Yes, it is.
They're just models.
All right. How are you going to make money out of this?
Well, all the ticket sales are a donation, a direct donation. And it'll go straight to Joseph's Storehouse. There's no way. I want to send a thank you out to Hunter Duncan and Lunita Sampson. Hunter Duncan is a chef. He's a professional chef. And Lunita Sampson is too. She just doesn't know it. And they'll be in charge of our food. And they've got a wonderful menu that we're going to have this year that I hope everybody will enjoy.
All right, you've done this before. It's raised money. You're going to raise a lot of money again, of course, and there are other ways that you have support. But as far as actual fundraising goes, understand this is it.
Yes.
How many people will participate? You anticipate in this?
We have sold 39 tables of 8 people, and some men are coming because they want to see. We're having twins from Em and Kate, all twins. So, of course, the dads want to be there to see their little one out there on the stage. And we have, we hope 350 people. Of course, there's always sickness that comes about, but we're planning on 350 people. That's as much as the Capitol will allow us to have.
What's the easiest way to get your tickets?
Call me at 615-417-3566, and we will find a place for you.
615-417-3566.
Yes, sir. Yes,
Sandy
sir.
Hubbard.
Yes, sir.
All right. How many years you done this? Do you recall?
This will be our second year, but I did.
Okay. So it's in its infancy in a way, but you did so well, at least well enough last year that you're doing the second half.
Well, we just get excited about it.
Yeah.
We want everybody there to experience it.
Well, and again, the Capitol Theater.
Yes, sir.
And a week from tomorrow. And what are the hours again?
Our appetizers. Our bruschetta starts at 10 a.m., and then our lunch starts at 11, and that's when the fashions will begin.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. There's a lot of other things to talk about. You have a number of people who volunteer. In fact, Sandy, you started that. You just kind of got into this as an extra, I guess, in addition to the other things that you do. Chip, I know you've told your story here, but you spend a pretty good bit of time with Joseph's Story.
Yeah, it's fun. I enjoy it. They allow me to go on Wednesdays. Now it's gone to like 3 out of the 4 weeks. We go to Second Harvest Food Bank in Nashville. And I get to drive a 27-foot international truck. I don't let anybody get worried out there to see the Joseph Storehouse going down the road. But it's a nice truck that the Lord has blessed us with last year, and we were able to go down, and it's conditioned so we can bring the food back if it's frozen. We can keep it frozen. But I enjoy doing it. It's a blessing to be able to go down there and pick the food up and bring it back. But when I go down there, a lot of times it'll be anywhere from 16 to 21,000 pounds of food, dude. That's a lot of food. 21,000 pounds of food.
Yeah.
Just about every Wednesday, except one out of the month. But 3 weeks out of the month, that's 18 to 21,000 pounds of food. That just shows you how much food we give away. I mean, it's so impressive.
Well, Benny, I guess this is pretty much a full-time occupation for you, or is it?
Well, no, it is probably full-time, but yet too is we're only open 4 days a week, half days. We're basically there Monday through Thursday, and but yet too is when you're following up with food and donations and so on and so forth, we strive to take advantage of every opportunity we can. Tractor trailers call, they can't drop off their load due to whatever fact. We want to make sure, and it may not be a whole load of food. It may only be 3 pallets, but when they call us and said, hey, will you take what we've got, we'll take it.
Well, just like this, like when Benny's talking about them trucks calling, I mean, how many people that you know that can unload 27,000 pounds of potato? Yeah. I mean, this guy's stuck in town. I mean, that happens more than once, you know. I mean, we're able to offload that kind of load.
But you're kind of the leader, the man in charge.
Yes, sir. I guess they call me executive director.
All right, okay.
And he's done a he's been humble, but Coleman, he's done a tremendous job since he's come to town.
Well, we're back we were gone 20 years to Kentucky. My background's in healthcare, and it was good to get back home. And it was the right time for my mother-in-law Brother Bob passed away about 5 years ago, and so, it's been a blessing for us to work with people like Chip and Sandy.
Yeah.
Because we have an opportunity for a lot of churches, volunteer groups. We have Sunday school classes. We have businesses that volunteer, that come out and volunteer on our giveaway days, which is, our giveaway days, Coleman, is the last Saturday of the month and the Thursday before that Saturday. That's the main giveaway days.
Well, no doubt, word has spread, and you've had you've been busy all these years, even back when Brother Bob, I guess, was kind of sitting in your seat.
Sure.
And he was a take charge guy, no question. I mean, because he started this from nothing, really.
22 boxes of food and $300 of their own money, and it's grown to. Give you an idea, Coleman, yesterday, which was our Thursday giveaway day, we distributed food to almost 285 families, and we'll do the same thing again tomorrow. We'll hit a little over 600 families just this month that are coming for food.
Well, now, do you have any government ties? I mean, you're totally independent of the way you operate.
We are, and we're like everyone else. We get resource. We're a partner agency with Second Harvest Food Bank, which we're fortunate and blessed to be part of Second Harvest. We work very closely with Operation Blessing out of Virginia Beach, Virginia. We get as Chip, that's a total separate issue. We get a tractor trailer load of food, snacks, and drinks from them once a month as well. But we take advantage of, during the COVID issues, we took advantage of whatever opportunities that were given to us, trying to be good stewards of what we have, but yet too, as we took advantage of some of the opportunities to gather additional resources through that process.
All right, I'm going to, not yet, but we're going to wrap it up with Sandy telling one more time about the big event coming up in the fundraiser. But we got a couple of minutes here we could spend. I mean, how long is this at Joseph Storehouse actually? What year did that start?
1999.
Okay.
It started in 1999.
So, what, 24th year?
Yep.
I guess. A lot of change has taken place, no doubt. There are a lot of people that were with us then who aren't anymore as time goes on. But you have continued, and it looks like you're going to be for the foreseeable future. I'm just wondering, is any particular need that you have today, or you're thinking 5 years ahead to even more building, more trucks, more personnel? What's the future look like?
You know, for us, I think and again, I hate to rush to the obvious thing for most nonprofits is, of course, resources and dollars. I still say the biggest challenge we're going to have in the future, Coleman, is going to be availability to food. I think that's going to be a challenge not only for Joseph Storehouse. I think it's going to be a challenge for a lot of things.
You know what? I don't want to scare anybody, but I've been reading a little bit about that too.
Yeah.
We might have some food shortages, and boy, God help us if we do.
Yes.
And I think that's if you were asking my greatest concern or what need is, we're trying our best to continue to expand our opportunities for other resources to gather food. Money's one thing, but we're trying to find other resources, not to put all our eggs in one basket, to have availability to other food. And
you want to comment on that?
Yeah,
too?
because even going down to Second Harvest, it seemed like it's gotten a little, maybe ticked up a little bit better in the last month or so. But I've seen times when we didn't get a lot of food. The Second Harvest Food Bank said the donations were just, because all these donations from major corporations come in all over the country to Second Harvest. And when that slows up, it slows up the pipeline. And when it does, it affects everybody.
And we do give out USDA food too as well. We're a partner. That's part of being with Second Harvest. But we're finding that there's still food, and it's been somewhat limited, Coleman. The variety has been definitely reduced. Where we used to have a larger availability for variety, that has definitely been reduced. And,
like milk, that's been a shortage for us lately.
And we normally used to be able to get milk and eggs every food giveaway, and that's been a challenge for us.
Bread.
All right, we've got about 2.5 minutes. Sandy, wrap it up here this morning. Tell us about the big event coming up, and one more time here.
Okay, we're going to have a wonderful fashion show. It's Saturday, April the 1st at the Capitol Theater, and we're calling it the Lebanon Square Mother-Daughter Fashion Show benefiting Joseph Storehouse. and we hope everyone will be all the vendors on the square will be represented. Probably 80% of them. So we're excited, and we hope everybody will want to come and just get in touch with us some way, and we'll get you a ticket.
All right, now you've sold a lot already.
Yes,
so
sir.
There's,
Yes, sir.
It's you're hoping and most likely going to be sold out because it's a limited.
No, it'll be sold out.
Huh?
It'll be sold out.
Chip guarantees.
Yeah.
All right, and the easiest way to do that?
It's just by calling me on my cell phone, 615-417-3566. We'll get you a spot.
Okay.
Thank you so much for giving us this
Well,
opportunity.
it's been nice to see all three of you and to hear the progress report, I guess we could call it. And I mean, we all have to deal with the times that we're in.
Yes.
And there are people that are hurting. There are people that are hungry. There are people who probably wonder what they'd do if it wasn't for Joseph's Storehouse. And I bet you hear that every week.
We do,
Or
and
every time you give away food.
Yeah, and we do. And I tell you, the other thing for us too is, Coleman, I guess, is to say our numbers are going up is not really a good thing, but we are very fortunate and honored that we do have resources to feed those who are coming. And,
all right, I want to thank you all for being with us this morning. It's been my pleasure to be the host here and to talk about this. But Sandy Hubbard, thank you for getting us all set up. Benny, really good to see you again.
Yes, sir.
And Chip, it's always
a pleasure.
good to see you.
Well, I appreciate that. It's always fun to come out.
All right. Well, everybody, have a great weekend, and until Monday, I wish you a fantastic day.